On today's episode of Nobody Cares What I'm Doing. Alright, a little channel update. Got the vane airflow meter and alternator cleaned up, as well as the throttle body for the intake manifold. I've got to clean up the turbo compressor housing, and I'm going to paint it to match the rest of this stuff, which the engine, trans, and everything else is finished. So this is the short block. Yes, we painted over sensors and stuff. That oil filter is coming off. It was just put on there to prevent paint from getting into the oil cooler. But I have all the sensors and shit I don't care about being painted, as long as like the tabs and stuff are not, which they are not. Nipples are not painted, anything like that. That fitting is coming out, and a stock turbo feed fitting is going in. So don't have to worry about that. Got the whole engine all painted up and looking nice. Intercooler pipes, battery tray, upper timing cover, the fuel rails all nice and painted. Coolant tube is painted. Exhaust heat shields painted. Upper and lower intake manifold and plenum are painted. Valve covers painted. Heat shield, distributor housing. And then the tranny just got finished, which is in here. So this puppy is ready to go. Looking all fire as hell, because I'm not putting everything back in the car without it being clean. Got another good short block, it turns out, other than the rod that I broke and the crankshaft that I chunked, which you won't really be able to see. I would have to turn the engine over. But yeah, I chunked the crankshaft, but all the cylinders look pretty good. Even the one that was rusty is not all pitted. It's got a couple of little spots, but that won't affect it running. I know, because I've used a whole lot worse. But it's just got a little bit there. But you can't feel it with your finger or catch a fingernail in it. So it's good to go. So I got a spare block now, which I needed another block. I've used up all my spares, killing them in my red car. Got another spare tranny, but it's got a blown diff. Did not break the case though, so I'm just going to pull the spider gears apart and throw in my good, perfect condition factory diff, which I'm going to weld the pin in place. But it's got brand new spider gears all the way through. As you can see, it is a beautiful factory diff, and they can handle a lot of power as long as you weld the diff pin in place so that it can't fall out if it breaks. I'm going to be taking this factory exit clutch and throwing it into the white car to get rid of this eBay FX clutch, which some of them actually have really good reviews, but I'm just not going to take the chance of it coming apart. But I'm going to get that factory clutch and good condition flywheel and everything on here. The white car is ready to have the engine dropped in. The cylinder head is ready to be gone through. I think I'm going to pull the rocker assemblies off, do leak checks on all the cylinders, make sure the valves aren't leaking, and if they're not, I'm just going to replace the valve stem seals and the lifters and call this head good, clean it up, and throw it on the car. And then I've got a new set of wheels and tires for this car, which I will show you a little bit later on. And then I've got a bunch of spare trannies, pretty much. I've got a full set of trans internals right here, a spare case right here, spare diff right here, another set of tranny internals here. This head gasket was damaged in shipping. I'm kind of nervous about using it because of... Oh, wait a minute. Maybe this isn't that one. Oh yeah, it is. It's got a little crease right there. And another little bit right there. So I just didn't know if I wanted to use that. I've got another brand new one in my car. But yeah, I've got a spare stock gear set here, stock gear set here, spare case here, spare case there with another stock gear set in it. Unfortunately, I only have 2 cases for 3 gear sets and 1 diff, because these things always kill the diff. So that's going to be I'm going to be able to make one good spare tranny out of these. And then I'll probably buy an M Factory again to do a spare diff in this one. That tranny is the original one out of this car, which is in perfect condition internally. It's beautiful, 120,000 original miles. So that tranny is a good stock gear set and diff, but the diff will be the weak point because I'm not going to pull it apart and weld the pins, so it's just as likely to drop a pin as any other trans, but I'll probably be fairly gentle on this car because it's staying on the stock turbo. Chris's car, we're putting a new fuel pump in it today and seeing if we can do another first fire on it. We did the first fire. I didn't get it on video, but it only ran for a second and died because the fuel pump died. So, I've got lots of spare stuff. I've got injectors and sensors and shift shafts, and I've got engine mounts, intermediate shafts, some spare piston rings. I've got spare starters, got my 86mm ring compressor because I pretty much only do stock bore stuff. Got spare engine mounts and stuff in there. So I've got lots of spare parts. Chris and I, well, Chris just went through and now we have an organized bolt bin. So we've got like timing belt tensioners, cam caps for cylinder heads. We've got radiator mounts. We've got lower timing gears, engine mount bolts, bell housing bolts, axle, CV shaft nuts. We got flywheel bolts, spacers for the pulley. I mean, we got all the different style bolts and stuff all off of parts like engines and blocks and stuff that we couldn't use, trannies we couldn't use. Got lifters, everything's all labeled. So now we have an organized area to grab bolts and parts and stuff from. So that's pretty cool. Got a lot of spare parts, vacuum lines, manifolds, fuel rails, intercooler pipes, boots, that kind of stuff. And then obviously everything's all nice and organized in here too. Got the SHO long block sitting in here from it's a 3.0 Yamaha V6 DOHC 24 valve. Valve covers, pistons, rods, a couple more cylinder heads. These are Chris's. All this stuff is Chris's stuff. For his spares, so yeah, man, we got freaking everything. That's all garbage. So yeah, this is this white probe is getting pretty close to being able to come together. I'm just literally waiting for my seals to come in the mail, and I will be resealing everything, and then I can mate the block in the head if that turns out to not be leaking. But I'm going to do a new crankshaft seal on this, a new rear main. It's going to get a new rear timing cover gasket. The timing belt stuff is all in good condition. It was just replaced, so I'll probably keep that. I might throw a new one on there, but I'm not sure. I'll be changing this timing cover out probably because it was damaged somehow. I'm thinking one of the belts was the wrong size and ate through the timing cover on this, but yeah, this thing will be getting resealed, new oil pan gasket, that kind of thing. And then I've got a new head gasket in the car. I'll be putting a new cam seal in this, an upper timing gasket for in between this timing cover and the head, new valve stem seals, a new distributor housing with a new gasket. So I mean, this thing is going to be all nice and fresh and ready to go. I got my 4-inch intake and filter on the probe. I just need to do the drain line for the turbo and it's ready to fire. And then I just need to get bigger injectors and an in-tank Walbro 450, and I can turn it up to 400 plus on race gas. So that's pretty cool. I'll throw some pictures in right here, but I just wanted to update everybody on what's going on. It's been kind of slow waiting on parts, so I didn't want you to think that like I had paused on this. I have not. I'm just waiting for parts. So bear with me, and I appreciate everybody watching, and I hope that you're as excited as I am for all these cars to be up and running. I just wanted to say a big shout out to everybody who has subscribed recently and been supporting the channel. My views have been a bit less. I've kind of changed up the theme of the channel a little bit. It's not all about racing. It's kind of trying to show the process of some of the stuff I do behind the scenes. some of the stuff that goes on. So I just figured everybody should get a little update on the channel, and I should give you guys a big thank you for being so supportive. Hopefully I will have some more pull videos, racing, stuff like that with the red car. I'll have breaking in the engine on this thing. So a lot of content's going to be coming soon. It's just I work full-time single dad. Money's been tight. I got a new girlfriend, so I've been spending a lot of time with her and the kids and stuff. So, you know, life happens. I don't make money off this YouTube. I can't do it as a full-time thing yet. Maybe someday, but I figure I'll wait till I build something people actually want to see, since nobody seems to really care about the probes except for a die-hard small group of people. So, but I don't do it for them. I do it for me, and I love bringing these cars back from the dead and bringing awareness to them and showing people that they're actually a pretty viable performance platform. You guys have seen what I've done with the red car. It'll run 12s all day. That's pretty impressive for a front-wheel drive turd Ford from the fucking 80s. You know, with a single overhead cam 12-valve 4-cylinder. I mean, it's not anything special. It was an engine designed for a Mazda B2200 pickup truck. They added 4 valves and a little baby turbo too. So to take it as far as I have, you know, I'm pretty stoked on that. I think a few people appreciate it now versus when I was stock turbo thinking the car was actually really fast. I don't know. But thanks again, everybody, for all your support. Thank you for making it worth it for me to do this, and I hope you guys have a good day, good week, good month, and I hope I can bring you some stuff to entertain you in that time. Alright, so got the front main seal out without pulling the oil pump. It's that guy right there. That'll be getting replaced. And then I have to pull the clutch and flywheel off, and I'll be doing the rear main on this as well. And then this thing will be resealed. If the oil pan looks like it's leaking when I get it on the engine crane, I'll pull the pan and reseal it real quick. But yeah, this thing is definitely coming together. Alright, so on the new short block, I got the rear main seal housing off, cleaned up, got the old rear main out of it, got the back tranny spacer cleared up. Everything along those lines. Pilot bearing looks really good, feels really good, so I'm just going to reuse it. I've got rear main on the way. Got the front main seal out, crank pulley off, accessory pulley off. All that's ready to go. There we go. So, got the new, the tensioner and idler are good, water pump's good, no water leaks. It's not leaking from the oil pump. It was definitely leaking from the camshaft seal and the front main, so that's why I'm changing those out. Over here to the head, unfortunately, I took the rocker assembly off, turned the head on its side, filled the ports with Simple Green, and they were all leaking. Every single valve was leaking a significant amount, so this head needs a full rebuild, so I'm just going to have it fully rebuilt, be ready to go. Cam and everything looks good, followers look good, but I'm definitely going to have this head fully gone through, that way I don't have to worry about it. Even though it's a used short block, it's in very, very good condition, one of the best I've ever seen. I got this block, the one that's out of the car that was seized up. I got it all honed out, ready to go. Got to clean off the deck surface at some point. Got it all stripped of everything. Got the front main out of it. Rear main's still in. I'll get that in, or get that out. Flip it over, pull the mains, throw a random crank in it, throw new main bearings in it. Not even care. Not going to check it, not going to plastic gauge it, just going to throw it together. I've done it 4 times now with my red probe and never had an issue. So, at least not an oil control issue. I've had some cylinder issues, but most of that's from breaking pistons all the time. So, yeah, got to clean those up. Got to replace the broken rod. And then got to put all my painted components together once the head is finished. And I got the lower timing cover painted. So this thing is just waiting on some parts, mostly the seals. And then I got my Felpro head gasket. which is what I always use. I hate OEM gaskets because they leave this checkered shit behind. And this is a comparable head gasket. I've used stock head bolts the whole time. I've made up to 330 wheel, 370 torque on the head gasket with stock head bolts. No problems. Still haven't cleaned up the turbo assembly. Need to do that. Everything else is cleaned up, so I'm going to probably call it for the day. Alright, got the alternator fitted. And I got the head gasket on there, ready to bolt the head on. Got to put new seals in it and everything like I showed you before. Put a new oil filter on it, and then this short block is pretty much ready to go. Alright, so I had a front main seal, so the front end of the engine is back together. I'm going to have to pull the main pulley back off to do the timing belt, but I'm not worried about that at the moment. It's not a big deal. I'm just putting it on there so I don't lose it. Alternator's on. Deck surface is ready. New head gasket's on. Just need to get the head back from being rebuilt, get the rear main in, and I can assemble the long block.
Oh shit.